Hey guys, welcome back. Pineapple King here, and today we have a new series I'd like to call the RB Pyramid for fantasy football. And there's a difference, by the way. This is not based off of just skill, this is fantasy football related. Let's get into it. First off, we have Aaron Jones. Just got moved to the Vikings on a 1 year deal. He's getting drafted as the RB 19. Not horrible, I say. It's just he's on a the Vikings have the worst offensive line in the league, and he doesn't really have any competition. And because of that, I think he's a solid RB2. He's getting older on a bad offensive line with a not who knows who the quarterback is yet. I think his ceiling is solid RB1. So, not sorry, but solid RB2. But I think he sits in RB2 today. Alvin Kamara is getting drafted RB15. This is all ESPN, by the way. I think also getting older, but he's got that passing upside that Aaron Jones really didn't have in the Packers backfield. I think he's a mid RB1, solid RB2. You pick him up as your RB2 in fantasy. It's perfect. It's not great because he's getting older. You don't know exactly how well he's going to perform. He's injury prone, but I think he's got some juice. Then we have Mr. Mustard, Bijan, obviously getting drafted as the RB3. I think, I mean, this will be listed like in a list, by the way. So like, obviously CMC would be before him. You'll get it. He's a hero RB. Falcons don't have the greatest offensive line, but he's got the passing upside of Kamara, but he's got the youth of a rookie and the strength of Christian McCaffrey. I think everything's there. It's just he hasn't performed yet. So it's kind of scary to call him a hero RB, but I think he has the potential to be hero RB. Blake Corum, uh, I'm benching the rookies right now just because you don't really know, and Blake Corum is not even getting drafted really. He's a backup. He's your bench, even if you were thinking about drafting him. Brees Hall, another hero RB. I have him above Bijan mainly because you have a solid quarterback handing him off the ball, giving him dump passes. He's got the same passing upside and a better offensive line. For sure, hero RB. Brian Robinson, oof, not the type of guy you want to see. He's splitting reps with Austin Eckler, which is getting older, but when a guy's splitting reps like this, he can only be a flex. If he is in a committee backfield, he has to be a flex. RB2 is ceiling, and that's like, oh man, unfortunately. CMC, no explanation needed. Injury prone, yes. The best running back in football and in fantasy, also yes. You have to put him at your number one RB. You have to draft a number one overall. Don't overthink it. We'll get into that in a later video. DeAndre Swift on the Bears now. I actually like this as a really good sleeper. I would put him in my sleeper category, but that's meant for just like a few certain players that I'm thinking of. So I'm putting DeAndre Swift in here behind Kamara, but I do put him above Aaron Jones. He's getting drafted after him. I really think DeAndre Swift at RB23 is a good. You could put him in by the time it gets to the point like round 5, round 6, you put him in your flex. That'd be amazing. This Lions running back room, it makes me happy for the Lions because they have two insanely good running backs, but it just does not make me happy for fantasy. Montgomery is now a flex starter, if that, just because of Gibbs. And I'll go ahead and pull Gibbs out of here. He's RB2. I know people are going to call me crazy. You know what? Okay, just so people don't call me crazy, at the end of mid RB1, it's just he He's in a running back committee, guys. You got to understand that he's getting drafted way too high. It's not worth it. It's just, yeah, you can't do anything about that. Unfortunately, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's an amazing player. I think he's going to be great in fantasy when Montgomery either leaves the Lions or retires. But right now, he just can't be above a mid RB1. Sorry. Derrick Henry, on the other hand, he's a workhorse. He's now in Baltimore. Everything's going great. He's aging, but he's still a solid RB1. Don't count out Henry just because he's aging and just because Lamar is the RB1 on that team. A Chain, this is the same thing with Gibbs. You've got an older guy that is keeping you in a committee, and it sucks. It really does. Because I'm also going to put him in a mid RB1 behind Gibbs. It's just unfortunate, you know? Since we're talking about this running back committee, Mostert is barely a flex. Honestly, I gotta put him on the bench. He's not even worth a flex start. But he's hurting A Chain's touches and touchdowns. It's just you can't. It sucks. It does suck for Gibbs and A Chain. There's a couple other guys here in committees. You gotta draft the guys with no competition. Ironically, Aaron Jones is below them. It's just because of his situation. Because Gibbs and A Chain are younger and show much more spry. It's just they are the RB1 on their teams. It's just they're getting held back by their older committee partners. Zeke, this is a weird, weird, weird thing. Zeke is old. He's getting drafted as the RB32 though. Give me sleeper. And I know that's insane, but he's back on the Cowboys. He has a solid offensive line. He's got a solid quarterback to hand off to him and throw. It's just as long as the rookie does not get involved. Sorry, not the rookie. I'm thinking of a different team. Sorry, guys. Rico Dow does not get involved. He's a sleeper in my book, especially RB32. He could sit in your flex every week. I'd be happy with Zeke in my flex. Even if I was wide receiver heavy, I'd be happy as him as my RB2. Getting drafted as the RB32, as a sleeper. Gus Edwards, bleh, does not. It's just, that's gross. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, sorry for McAllister's guys. J.K. Dobbins isn't even here, but Gus Edwards is a bench guy. Gus Edwards / J.K. Dobbins right here. It's there. Gross. It's a bad Chargers offensive line with just Herbo in that running back room. I mean, you've got word that Dobbins may even start in front of Edwards, even though they'd probably still be in a committee. He's on the bench for me. Pacheco, he is another sleeper. He's not going in the sleeper category, though. He's going in solid RB1 above Derrick Henry. I almost want to put him in hero RB, but it's just there's too many mouths to feed on that Chiefs offense. That's the only reason I'm not. Kelsey, those 3 or 4 solid wide receivers. But he's got no competition. And he's got Patrick Mahomes handing the ball off to him and giving him dump passes. That's really good. Especially for a team that's probably going to win like at least 12 games, right? James Conner. I like where he's getting drafted. I like taking him at RB24, right behind DeAndre Swift. I think he's a RB2, but I think that it's close. You know, it's he could be a mid RB1, but the Cardinals are just they're. I love the Cardinals. I love Kyler Murray, but they're not a run heavy team, and Connor is getting older, so I gotta give the benefit of the doubt to age and injury proneness. Stick him at RB2, kind of a sleeper at RB24. I would put him in my RB2 for spot for sure. And that'll do it. This is part one. We'll get into part two probably tomorrow. See you guys later.